So, familia, Angel Anderson here. Today I'm bringing an amazing conversation with Jay Ellison from Eco Benefit Solution, where we talked about his time management challenges and how he overcame and how he does marketing and networking, even though he's a super busy person. Jay, why insurance?
Oh gosh. Okay, so I was in the Army for 20, 23 years all total. And when I was coming up in the 90s and that era, the urban myth was that when you retired, or when every time the Army was over, or military in general, that companies would be fighting to hire you, and there'd be these great management corporate jobs out there, and it would be awesome, and you'd have no problem. So 2014 comes around, it's time to retire, and those jobs do not exist anymore. They don't hire that way anymore. There's a lot of lip service for people wanting to hire military, but it doesn't really materialize outside of law enforcement and some things like that. So that the jobs you think you want aren't there anymore. So, and I'm a pretty realistic person, so I thought, okay, well, that's not out there. What else is there? And so did my resume, did all the classes, did all my research, and just put the resume out, and let's see what happens. See who's out there, and start networking and talking to people. And I got a bunch of immediate hits for insurance. And not only had I never...
You never done insurance before?
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no. And I not only did I not know anything about insurance, I've been in the military forever, so I didn't even know anything about health insurance or life insurance, because it was either TRICARE or SGLI.
And we're provided with that, all that. So excuse me for a second, that I forgot, after I worked so hard in that light, that light gotta be in the video.
Nice. Oh, I love that light.
But if you see the different look that you see in the set, so
no, it's cool.
But that way it's not scripted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got a bunch of hit for insurance.
Mm-hmm. And I went through one company right away and did all the training and licensing, and then started working in their office and realized it was not the kind of place I wanted to work. It was not a good environment, very kind of boiler room, kind of petty bullying kind of stuff. And just, I was in the Army way too long to put up with that. Mm-hmm. And the beautiful thing about having that magic DD-214 is, which is with the piece of paper you get when you get out of the military that says you survived, is that you don't have to stay with a job that you don't like anymore. You can quit and not get shot. And I went to work for a different company right away, and really got experience, and I got to be manager, trainer, leader, back to more of what I was used to. And that was a really good opportunity. I did that for a couple of years, and then got headhunted to open a call center for a company. And, it was a really super interesting challenge to start a brand new office from a big empty box in an office park to a call center within a month right before opening.
It's interesting you say that, and you smile, because before you said boiler room, and I know what they are. I heard stories about marketing boiler rooms and about sales boiler room, but I never seen one. I would not mind seeing one. I don't know if I would like to work on one.
Well, it turns out I didn't like that either, because and when we all get, especially during open enrollment time period, your phone blows up from people trying to sell you stuff, and I didn't really think through that part of it. I thought more about the challenge of it, and I like a little bit of chaos. I like challenge. And so that was fun until it reached steady state, and then the reality of working in a call center where the objective is to sell things, not to help people, and that was not for me. So
fast forward to the day you decide, okay, I'm going to own an insurance business.
Yeah, that I was in the middle of a meeting and realized that we've been chasing the same problems for months, and none of it was going to change because of ownership and management. Mm-hmm. And I feverishly texted my fiance to the table, like, I can't do this anymore. I need to go do my own, need to quit, do my own thing. So no more forethought than that, really, and which is very not like me. And so as graciously as possible, quit in the middle of that meeting and left. And I was independent as of that moment. And that was a bit off way more than I thought I did at that moment, because the challenge of starting from scratch and building, branding, name of the company, incorporating office space, contracts with different insurance carriers, and all that kind of stuff, was super daunting. And I did that in May of this year. So
since May this year, so June, July, August, September, October, November. So in the last 7 months, what's been because I seen your activity in social media. You seem to be the connector. You seem to be the person that is constantly referring people. And I'm assuming if you have that level of activity on social media, in person you gotta be probably 10 times 5 or 10x. What with all this activity you've done and launching the business, I understand that you have to do the activity. What has been the constant in the last 7 months, the more constant present problem or challenge you face with the business?
Oddly enough, it's not getting business. It's not meeting customers. That's not the problem. That's the only reason I could do it and be successful. The challenge was...
You want water?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I get nervous and mouth stops working. Is the organization of the business and the which activities at what time, the balance of
the
time.
Time management idea?
Exactly. Because I'm ADD as all get out. So
yeah, but
I'll get sidetracked.
It doesn't matter at the end of the day in the military. It doesn't matter if you were a full bird or a E5. We all follow instructions on somebody. It's a little bit more structured than, okay, now I'm the HR, now I am the sales, now I am the marketing.
Yes.
Now I gotta make sure that this is good. Oops, I used the wrong business account for this. So I get it. So what you're saying is that knowing what to do at the right time, like a structure is being...
Yes. So I had to impose that on myself. And I was fortunate enough to meet a friend through networking that's a business coach, and started participating in a mastermind once a month. And it really showed me that there's people that are, hundreds of people on the same journey as you. And I got to spend time with people who are in the same journey, just further along. And they all dealt with the same things. So I was able to apply a system. So these are what I do on these particular days of the week.
So you theme your days?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I have to block time or I will get distracted. So I have an office space that I use. And I'm radically more productive at the office, or even at a Panera or a Starbucks or something. Then if I'm at home, I'll find 20 other things to do that aren't revenue generating.
So earlier we were talking about me moving to an office, and that's but I believe it's going to be the side effect. Look, I'm considering myself a good time management, productivity guy, but I found that when I'm at home, in the home office, I get distracted. Whether I do the dishes or I do a set of laundry, whatever it is that
100%. Yeah, the dog, they're replaying a football game on NFL Network. Squirrel, I'm out.
So let's backtrack. So you right now you solved that problem, that time management, the structure problem, or you're still working?
I think it's going to be a lifelong challenge for me. I think that's just because of my personality. But I've applied enough of a structure to it that it's not a net negative anymore.
So break it down. What have you done? So you mentioned theming the days, but how you go about that?
Well, you figure out these are the things I need to do. You figure out recurring tasks that you have to do daily, weekly, monthly. Okay. And you block those out. Your marketing days. Okay. Or marketing days, but content generation. Like I have to write content. Yes. I mean, we all do this. Yes. You write content, you find pictures, or you take the time to go take pictures. Yes. I try to take as many of my own as possible. Yes. And then networking is a huge piece of it. Going and having the one-on-one meetings. I do BNI and I do a couple other networking groups. So that's a time commitment. Then actual sales appointments.
Yes.
That's kind of critical.
Yes.
And then all the follow-up that goes with those, and customer service is a huge piece of that. I do all of my own.
Yes.
I always tell all my clients, don't call an 800 number. Call me. That's
Yes.
why you hire me.
Yes.
So that's a time commitment, well worth it. And then just all those things. And then you figure out, and then you overlay that over your family schedule, which is obviously the priority.
Yes.
And gym time and sports and all that other kind of stuff. And okay, these are my windows to work and be productive. And so those are days. So I'll have maybe 2 days a week that are just full out attack, do nothing but work those tasks. And then the other days are 3-4 hour blocks where I know I'm fully engaged with kid stuff every Thursday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing that goes on the calendar on those days. But Thursday morning is all networking.
Okay.
Because I know I have that time, So it's that keeps me between the rails and productive.
So I like that. I like that. So you adopting this with time, you will continue to alleviate the time constraints, because you book and you schedule the things that you want to do. So let's circle back to marketing. When you batch your marketing, what type of activities you do?
A lot of it is, content generation is big because it has to be authentic, and I'm starting to learn video and editing and stuff, so nowhere near proficient at any of it yet. So I want to do some of that, like the explainer videos and things like that. Like that's where I met you, was learning how to do that stuff. And so learning those things, and then but content generation, and then also engagement is going on other people's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, commenting, sharing. I try with my clients. I find out what their businesses are and try to promote their businesses as well. And if it's compatible, because you have to be authentic. Yeah. But that's never hard to do.
That's a word that this year has been thrown out constantly. But to me, it's my opinion that most entrepreneurs, they can't be authentic because they're not authentic with themselves. I think a lot of people are trying to portray this success that they don't achieve, and they get caught up in this cycle that is the next picture, the next like, but it's not moving the needle forward into the business. Yeah, no. So how you stay away from that? Maybe because we're older.
I think that helps a lot. When you know who you are. Yeah. And I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not. Yes. I know what my objectives are, and if there's no. If you always tell the truth, you never have to remember what your story is.
100%.
So it's if it's everything is generated for me from providing for my family. I am who I am. Yeah. Like my personal Facebook is wide open. Yeah. I'm not controversial anyway, but I think people want to do business with people that they, that like, know, and trust.
Yeah, it's we hear it all the time, but it's true. So. If you have to pick one activity that is working for you, like it's giving you a return on investment, one marketing activity, what would that be?
Oh, networking, 100%.
Networking.
I haven't done the math for this open enrollment, but if I had to guess, I'm about 98% referral. 98% referral? At least, yeah. I solidly.
So oddly enough, the online marketing guys. And I'm not seeking, but it's more inbound right now than outbound. But if you have to pick one activity online, what would it be?
Online, I think Facebook. Facebook has been good for me because the market that I want to engage with is all about our age, and they're on Facebook. So the people I'm looking to meet are not looking for things on Snapchat. Instagram to a lesser extent, but there's not a lot of depth with Instagram because it's very visual. But it's a good tool to redirect, so the content I do goes across all of those. But Facebook to me is more of a conversation, and especially on the community pages on Facebook. Yes. For me in my area, that's a very good use of time.
So when you mean community pages, you mean you go to other groups and you try to help or try to do something like contribute to those groups?
Yeah, I don't advertise on those pages. I'll put like a little PSA or little factoids or things like that. Just like, hey, here's a little piece of information. You know,
that you didn't know about insurance.
Usually, yeah, because that's the lane that I'm in. But people ask for recommendations for things, so I always try to get on those very quickly because I can refer other people, and that's a great way to kind of keep the momentum going, and it's like the good karma game. You know, I like to help people as much as I can, and just if you're a presence on there on a regular basis. Yes. And people recognize your name.
Yes.
Because you're a presence, not because you're a pain in the ass.
Yes. No, I get it.
It's that way when you do an ask or you do what's the right hook, the Gary Vaynerchuk, the right hook,
left, which is value, and then right hook.
So when I do have an ask, like I'll go to my community and say, hey guys, I have a post. Would you share? I'd really appreciate it.
So you ask for that.
100%. Yeah.
I'm surprised how many people I talked to. I've been in Florida since June 2017, and you're the first person to tell me that. I'm surprised. I know people that upload a video to YouTube and don't even share the video. They just expect people to come to the.
No, that seems like such a. No, yeah, I think because you have this network of people, and I know your experience in the military is probably similar to mine in a sense that you never get anywhere by yourself. No. It's always, I don't have the right equipment for this mission, or I don't have enough people. So you go to your network and you ask for help, and you ask, to borrow or help.
You mentioned something early that I think is worth repeating: is that you block time to create content. So if you block time and you put the effort and the time into it, why not promote it and share it?
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people they don't share. So go tell me, when you go through that time, what you do? Do you have a plan that you go and take pictures, or you just start writing? Do you have a plan that you follow?
It's a lot of times. I mean, like content creation, a lot of it is kind of on the computer, kind of doing that kind of stuff. But it helps you keep a focus, because if I have half an hour to kill between meetings, and I'm in an interesting place, or you go someplace like downtown Tampa, or or you're near where there's a park or something, and I've got half an hour, I can go take some pictures, or I can just sit, and I joke wherever that backpack is where my office is. So I can go and I can get online and engage with some other people's pages, and I try to use that time. So the blocking of time is I'm not super disciplined about it. It's just, it helps provide focus. Like these are, I know that these are my 4 priorities at all times. More so today, marketing. Tomorrow is customer service and things. And it helps me fill those gaps. So instead of playing a game, or instead of just blindly scrolling through Instagram for half an hour, it gives me something to do that's actually productive, and I don't feel like I've wasted that time. I don't know if I really answered the question.
No, you did, because it goes into your process. It's one day that you realize that marketing is important, online marketing, besides the networking, and you at least are doing more than other people, that you are blocking a little bit of time, and I think it's I haven't dove deep into what are you doing, but I think in what I've seen in most places is, and that's what I was asking with a plan, is that most businesses, they don't have a plan, so they just generate content for the sake of generating content, because they know they need to produce something, but it's not moving the customer into that journey.
Yeah, and I don't really think that the content that I'm creating is anything groundbreaking. I don't think that at all. I think the engagement is.
You're reminding people you still exist, and that's it. And that's another thing that I realized. I can't draw from A to C, but I noticed that whenever I stop uploading, income drops. It's like people. The best way I can put it is that it's not their job to remember we exist. It's our job to remind them we exist.
Well, I had a meeting right before Christmas with a new referral partner. They were kind of interviewing me because they were an accounting firm and financial services firm, and they didn't have anyone to refer out their health insurance and Medicare business to, and quite a bit of it by the sound of it. So they wanted to meet with me because one of their friends had referred me to them. Like, well, this is our guy. You should use this guy. Which is gold for me. That's that's a gift, because not only does it show you that you're doing the right thing, and this other group of company has enough confidence in you that not only do they use you, but they'll promote you to one of their clients. That's a huge compliment. But before I went in, they had checked me out. So they referred to other people's podcasts that I had done, specific content that I'd put out, that they'd looked at web pages and things like that. So they went through and did a pretty good walk around your presence. And if you're only posting once a month, and if you're not engaging, and you're not doing things that are maybe not in your wheelhouse, like if you're not comfortable talking or being on camera, you have to go do those things, because there's a ton of people that do what I do.
Yes.
There's a ton of people that do it.
So how you found your differentiator? Because that's a big one for businesses. What do you find that you are different compared to other ones? It's a tough question for for anybody, even though that we...
Well, I'm trying to think of an answer that's not flippant, because, I mean...
What do you mean flippant?
Well, not like, because it's me, because that's not it, really. I mean, but it kind of is, because you can't... You always say when you're differentiating your business, you don't differentiate between price, customer service, and those are, you don't use those things. So, but it has to boil down to kind of your experience or your resume or how you make them feel in the process, because insurance is boring. It's not exciting,
But people have tons of questions.
But they do, and it can be quite stressful depending on their situation. And so I'm I very routinely say, all right, well, now you got me. You don't have to worry about this anymore. We'll figure it out. And I'm used to kind of a high stress life and making other people, because when you're a leader, you have to, if you're calm, everyone around you is calm.
Yes.
So to be able to kind of take the stress out of those things, and I like to have fun.
Yes.
So we make it as fun as possible, as much as you can, insurance, and just make the process enjoyable for them, and they have confidence that they've got a solution rather than they've been sold something.
Yeah.
And my referral rate from clients is super high, and that helps.
3 questions before I get sidetracked. I'm going to repeat it just to make sure I don't forget.
Yeah.
So one is going back to the referrals, one is time management, and the other one, you see? I thought I forgot what was the third one. That's what I wanted to ask, but maybe I come back. So let me circle back to the networking. You said that referrals are the biggest one right now. I know you're active on BNI. And you probably don't want to say in camera that BNI is not worth it because you are active.
No, I will be very honest about it. Yeah.
But what I mean is, what I want to ask is, for somebody that is busy, and because that's the typical excuse for most people.
Yeah.
What is the best use of their time? How can I plan my networking to? And you know what? At the end of the day, we all can say we are going to help other people, and we do in some aspect. But we always, in the back of our head, we're hoping to get some business.
Well, yeah,
that's the whole point.
We're all there to do business. We're all there to make money. It's not. I mean, you should be upfront about that. But let me say something about BNI. BNI is not the end all be all of networking. It is. It's a tool. It's a tool, and it's got its strengths and its weaknesses. And to me, it doesn't work for every personality type. It doesn't work for every business type. And to me, you can kind of focus your energy on this one network activity, and you're going to pick something, whether it's chamber, whether it's there's so many out there to choose from. There's so many to choose from. And any one you're going to do, you're going to have to spend the time and build the relationships. For me, it just happens to be BNI.
But you said it. You said it's a tool. You got to utilize your tool if you don't use it. Yeah. I think that's also expectations from people. They expect that everything is going to... To some people, not to everybody, but they expect that the referral will start flowing by the fact that you just joined to this organization.
No, there's no organization you can join where you write a check and the business will come. Yeah. It doesn't exist. They'd be ginormous if they didn't. You have to do the work. Because I was probably 6 months into BNI, producing for other people before it really started to work for me. And that's fast.
But because that's how the level of activity you
have to spend the time and build the relationships. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And I've been able to kind of spread out from there. So, but I do in my area. There's the Carrollwood Area Business Association. I do that to a lesser extent, and but it's you have to invest the time, and a lot of veteran networking. I'm trying to do more of that.
Veterans networking,
and that's becoming a bigger space to talk to people. And I have some friends that do different kinds of activities like this, or that have podcasts, or just trying to support other people's content. And it
trickles back down.
It all comes back because you're reaching new people that you haven't talked to before.
Yeah.
You're giving your time or what knowledge that you have. I mean, and I'm not any smarter than anybody else.
No,
but I know more about this one thing than a lot of people do. So if I can make somebody's journey a little easier, then cool.
It's all karma. It all comes back to us. Let's circle back to the time management, because what you're talking right now is, in my case. So what I've done to create more time is to be more intentional, like extra super intentional with the content that I create, because right now content creation is besides working in my client's project is what it takes me most of the time. Mm-hmm. So because I'm a content-based business. Mm-hmm. Earlier you said you structure your theme. What with your adjustment, what was the thing that it was consuming most of your time? The activity.
Well, initially it was organization. It's just trying to figure out, because I didn't have an external organization anymore because I was working for someone else.
Okay.
So now I had to come up with my own, and it took a couple of months really for that kind of initial paralysis of, oh dear God, what did I do? I have so much to do. Mm-hmm. That so finally between the coaching and everything else, like it helped me identify the 3 or 4 things that were critical.
Got it.
And that's where that kind of led the evolution of blocking the time the way I do. And I'm going to go through in January. I'm going to take a couple of days and go someplace and just do nothing but do a marketing plan, relook the time blocking, CRM, and all that stuff. And so that when I start off for the new year, it'll be very intentional and much more methodical than I was before. And with the content creation and the networking, and the reason why that I spend so much time on that is that by the time I actually sit down with Mr. and Mrs. Smith mm-hmm. to do work, they already know me.
Yes.
Either by referral or by content, so they know who I am.
Yes.
So when we sit down, the conversation gets to be a lot more focused on their issue than it is the kind of the dogs at the dog park sniffing each other to make sure that they like each other first before you get to that stuff. So it simplifies the process pretty radically. So you kind of come in pre-vetted, pre-trusted,
yes,
and ready to do the work.
100%.
And then you can kind of be more social and kind of chit-chat around that process, but it's no longer an audition.
So sticking to the time management, rapid-fire questions, what calendar you use?
iCal. I use the Todoist app, and iCal are my
so
go-to.
The Todoist app, and how you just add the items, or you have them categorized by personal, business?
It's by the Todoist app lets you break it out by project. So I have a marketing one. I have an agency project. Then I have new quotes, group business, and then follow-ups, which is the inevitable. Now that you've got your quote, we're going to circle back 85 times until you're ready to make a decision, and then which is totally normal, by the way. And then the client care is a big one on there too. So that's where the thank you cards and circling back to referral people, and that's where you kind of. So
let me after we finish with the rapid fire, I want to ask you about the onboarding because everybody how you onboard clients, but are you a paper or a digital
it's all on the computer. Yeah.
All on the computer.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Mac or PC, but you say iCal, so I'm assuming you're all Mac.
I am. I made the conversion to the dark side in 2007, and never went back.
What's your favorite software? What's the software? I'm not talking about Facebook or Twitter, like a business software that definitely helps you.
See, I'm just getting into the CRM.
Which one you use?
One of my friends mentioned it's called Less Annoying CRM.
Less Annoying?
Yeah.
Never used that one.
I've started working with that, and I'm going to give that a test drive and see how. I tried a couple years ago. God, what is it called? Contactually? Yeah. But for whatever reason, I don't think I was ready to really commit to it, but now I have to.
Okay.
And so I'm going to work on that as part of January. And but I've been kind of haphazard with the CRM part of it because I've had to focus on open enrollment and the sales piece of it, and that's where the business coach came in handy. Like, look, you can have all the CRM in the world. If you don't sell during open enrollment, you're going to be broke by January.
Yes.
And which was pretty damn smart.
Yeah.
So I have this, huge list of new clients, huge list of renewed clients. All that's got to go in.
So you guys have in insurance business, you have an open enrollment period that people need to buy.
Right.
How do you prepare now? But you've been 7 months on business, but how would you plan to prepare for next year? Because that's gonna be like, let's focus just on sales.
Mm-hmm. Well, with using the CRM, we just kind of keep maintaining awareness for people that that you're their agent, and letting them know what's coming, and letting them know to tell a friend. Going in.
That's a good one. You I don't know if you're doing it intentional, but sometimes we forget to make sure you tell a friend.
Yeah. Well, I tell people all the time. I write it. I do old school thank you cards.
Yes.
And I do.
You send a thank you card to all.
Every single one. So I had hand like this for a couple of days. You have to. I mean, and I put business cards in there, and I was please, like, the best compliments you can give is to tell a friend. And reviews are great too, but tell a friend.
Yes.
And I think you kind of tap into people's basic desire to help other people. And if I can refer you to somebody, that's great. But if I have a friend that's struggling with something and I have a solution for that, call this guy.
Yes.
For whatever it is. It could be plumber, it could be marketing. I mean, I got a guy. Call this guy. And so now you've done something nice to help somebody.
Yes.
And it comes back. So you make it easier for people to refer you. So much more intentional going up to that. Looking to hire some people, probably an assistant soon, and then a couple of agents by open enrollment. So I have to get them trained up and ready to go.
When is open enrollment?
It'll be for Medicare, and for health will be October of 19. It'll start. But it's year round for a lot of other things too.
Got it.
So it just really ramps up for a good 2 months at that time of year. But the rest of the year it goes as well.
I'm sure. I'm sure everything. 7 months and you've been hustling. I'm sure that is gonna go extremely well. I know you've been gracious with your time. Let me ask you insurance related questions, and before we end, where can people find you? But early you said, I am the differentiator. Why should I go with you?
Well, I think it's the process of I don't do sales. Sales always feels kind of gross, and the whole upselling and all that kind of process. I don't do any of that. To me, it's problem solving. Nobody sits down with an insurance agent to chat. That's not a social call. I have a problem that I've put off long enough. Now I need to deal with it. So I look very much as a problem. It's as a problem solving process. So we're going to sit down, and we're going to figure out what the problem is. What do I need to know to make a recommendation, and then something gets purchased in that process to solve the problem. But it's a secondary.
Yes.
It's not the process. Yes. And I always treat it that way. And I think that's why. I think the measure of whether that's a successful approach or not is how willing people are to refer, recommend, and keep what they purchase. Because that in the insurance industry, the persistence of products is kind of the metric for whether you're doing it correctly or not. Mm-hmm. So if you're happy with what you have, I've done my due diligence to make sure that your kid's pediatrician is in network, and that your wife's OBGYN is in network, or if they're older, that their cardiologist is in network. Little things like that. Got it. That is what keeps people. Because I've been in the industry for 4 years. I've had clients that have stuck through different changes of agency for all that time period. They wouldn't do that if it wasn't genuine. What is
one myth that you can debunk about insurance?
Oh gosh. Generally, it's less expensive than you think.
But it's still an expense, and a lot of people are afraid to that, right?
Well, it's life insurance is almost always less expensive than you think, and never fun to talk about. Yeah. But you have to have it.
Yes.
I mean, nobody gets out alive.
Yes.
And it's easy for the guy who sells it to say this, but
that's a good line. You should use it online.
Online, okay, yeah.
Nobody gets alive.
Yeah, well, I didn't come up with that one. I can't. But I use it as it's an easy joke. Yeah. But you have kids, you have a home, you have mortgage, you have kids are going to get married, they're going to go to college. These are things that have a financial responsibility attached to them. So you do that math.
But I think it's also in your side, it's also educational, because there are some people, there are a good chunk of people that think what I'm going to do for my kids to leave them in a better position than what I grew up. But there are other people that don't think about that, and I'm assuming you have to change their minds a little bit.
There's an education piece that goes with it, and usually when I'm referred to somebody for life insurance, they've either been speaking to their accountant or their financial professional, and so they're already kind of framed. But a lot of times when it kind of happens spontaneously, when you're talking to someone, because I'll always ask, because I'm not, it's my job is to treat the whole situation, not just this one piece of it. Do you have life insurance? No. I think, well, how much is your mortgage? Because usually we've talked long enough where I can ask that question. It's not awkward.
Yes.
How much is your mortgage? Blah. And do you have prepaid college for your kids? No. Okay. You might want to think about that, because they're cute and all. You might want them to go to college. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of, and I know in my head, because I've been doing it for a while, you're this age, this is about what that bracket will be, what it'll cost you. And that number is always smaller than they think it'll be. And when they find that out, oh, well, that's good. And to me, and it's super nerdy, I know, but I feel better about that because that's a family that's got that taken care of. So God forbid the primary earner or the primary caretaker of children passes away or is debilitated in some way, because it covers that too. They have a financial solution. It doesn't fix the problem.
Yes.
But that problem is a lot less horrible to deal with when you have the financial resources.
Let me ask you last question on marketing, and we can wrap it up. Have you ever done any funny comparisons? Like when people see insurance as an expense and they start rationalizing, let's say I'm going to pay... Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna pay $30 a month, for example. That you see some people, or you try to sneak well, that's how much you spend a month in McDonald's or Burger King or things like that.
There's that. I mean, also you can easily relate it to something that they know very well. Like everyone knows somebody who's had an accident or gotten sick, and then God, how much did that cost them? God, they probably spent $50,000 still paying for it. Well, that doesn't sound like fun, does it? And they go, yeah, you're probably right. That $14 a month or whatever it costs seems a lot more palatable now than that $50,000 bill. Have
you ever done that in marketing? Like, have you ever posted, if you eat one less burger a month, you can pay for life insurance? No, that's a really good idea. Although I do, one of the things I'll say is that, there's one health thing that I do quite a bit of, and then there's a little add-on that you can do that'll pay your whole deductible if you have an accident. So if kid falls off a skateboard and breaks their leg, instead of having to pay a $5,000 deductible, you pay nothing. And that's about $11 a month. So I said, for the price of a decent pizza, you have no deductible when your kid, because the kid is going to fall off something, they're kids, and that almost always makes the point. It's been pizza for me. It's a pizza.
So it's not even that good a pizza. One less crappy pizza, and you could pay for
Yes.
And that works really well. But I hadn't thought about that's a good because I'm going to have to do a lot of supplemental product marketing over the course of the year, and that's a really good way to kind of drive it towards
which you are not throwing other competition under the bus, but you're making it.
I don't ever do that. There's plenty out there for everybody.
Yes.
People make up their own minds. I don't don't trash anybody.
Where people can find you online?
My business page is echobenefitsolutions.com, and Facebook is just at Echo Benefit Solutions. That's where most of the content is, and any questions anytime, happy to help.
Jay,
thank you.